summer to commemorate the victory over the Catholics. David's on his way to see another cousin, Billy Blair, to find out more about his family's Protestant heritage.
I lived in a flat in Glasgow, and oh, there's the Queen. I guess we know what kind of an area we're in now then. You used to experience the marching season, because the Orange Marches still go on in Glasgow. It's quite shocking to see just on very ordinary family streets these huge murals. My knee-jerk reaction is one of slight kind of horror, if I'm honest. But, like I say, I don't really feel qualified to be judgmental about it. So, I think I've got to try and be as open-minded as possible. Doesn't really sit with my Guardian reader liberalism, though. Seeing at close quarters the world that Nellie came from and knowing some of the views she held, it does make you wonder how involved her father William was in the whole Protestant culture at the time.
Nellie's father, William Blair, was born in Londonderry in 1886. David hopes to discover more about the Protestant community that William lived in from his grandson, Billy Blair.
Thank you. Not far from here as we were coming in, just look round the corner, there's a very, I imagine a very Protestant area with a big murals on every wall. Yes. With the picture of the Queen and the various, and it was that traditionally is where the Blair family's been from, right? It's a very Protestant background.
My father was, he was an Orange man.
Oh, he was?
He was, aye. I've actually got a little gill that my father had worn. Right. That's what they call the sash David there.
Right, yeah.
The letters on is actually the lodge he belonged to.
Right.
And that's 1688 is actually a Dermot Lodge.
Right.
And that's out by the graveyard at Altney Gilden.
Right, right.
So they have a hall out there, that's what they had attended.
Was William in a lodge as well?
I don't know.
Right.
You could probably follow that through maybe for the Memorial Hall.
How did you feel when you were handed that sash?
Not great. Even now, I'm not that comfortable holding it. An orange sash has always, to me, been quite a potent symbol of aggression and of certainly not of outreach and peace and love amongst men. My father, who has been a man of the Church of Scotland all his life, but would no sooner be seen in an orange sash than flying to the moon, really. So it's quite difficult for me to reconcile that with these very lovely people that I met this morning, and indeed with my own grandmother and these other people in my family. I've followed Billy's lead and I've come to Memorial Hall to find out a bit more about the family connection to the lodges, and I'm trying very hard not to be judgmental about it. Hello.
David.
Yes, I am.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Just follow me.
Inside the Memorial Hall lies the historic heart of Londonderry Protestantism.
So what is
Suppose you're wondering where you're coming to.
I kind of am a bit, yeah.
William Temple of the Orange Order has information for David about great-grandfather William Blair. William was 26 years old in 1912, a year of crisis for Irish Protestants. They were the majority in Ulster, in the northwest province of Ireland, but they felt threatened by Catholic nationalist demand for home rule, a form of semi-independence from Britain. In September 1912, almost 500,000 Protestants signed the Ulster Covenant against home rule.
So this is it here. I'll let you have a look at it.
Ulster Solemn League and Covenant. Being convinced in our consciences that Home Rule would be disastrous to the material well-being of Ulster, subversive of our civil and religious freedom, we do hereby pledge ourselves in solemn covenant throughout this our time of threatened calamity to stand by one another, and in using all means which may be found necessary to defeat the present conspiracy to set up a Home Rule Parliament in Ireland.
There's something here might be of interest.
Well, this is the undersigned, is it? I see. William Blair of Cluny Terrace. There he is. That's my great-grandfather. 47 Cluny Terrace. And this is that, isn't
That's
it? It's
it,
the same
yeah.
thing.
That's the names of the people who signed that.
There he is. We have found him. Agnes Blair of 47 Cluny Terrace. That was Nellie's parents, both of them, signed the covenant. They were convinced that Home Rule would be disastrous.
David wants to find out why his great-grandparents William and Agnes signed the covenant. So he's come to meet historian Richard Doherty.
David,
Lovely to meet you.
likewise.
On these windswept Derry walls.
Very windswept, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I've just been, I've just seen my ancestors' names on a copy of the Ulster Covenant.
Yes.
What does that mean? What does that tell me about them?
Most of the Protestants throughout Ireland feel that Home Rule is going to endanger their position within the United Kingdom. And worse than that, they see it as introducing not just Home Rule, but Rome Rule, dominance of the Catholic Church.
And does this mean, because my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother's names are on this piece of paper, does that mean they were stacking shotguns underneath their beds? I mean, the kind of the barely concealed threat of violence in the wording of the covenant, was that very real yet?
I think there was a very real aspect to the threat of violence.
But would a nice lower middle class man and his wife who went to church every Sunday, would they genuinely be prepared to fight?
I think some folk like that were prepared to fight. I think what we've got to try to do is transport ourselves back a century and see what they feared, or try to feel what they feared.
And beyond just a religious fear, did they also fear that they would be persecuted, that their lifestyles would be at risk?
They did very much so. They feared that their businesses would be at risk. It wasn't
just we won't be able to worship the way we want to worship. It was bigger than that.
It was much, much bigger than that. It was
Yeah.
a feeling that the entire social and commercial structure and so forth of the country would be affected. That was the paradox of the covenant.
Yeah.
In order to prove that we are loyal to the crown, that we wish to remain loyal to the crown, we are prepared to take up arms against the forces of the crown.
By 1914, Protestant loyalists and Catholic nationalists were on the brink of civil war. But this conflict was delayed by a far more terrible one, the First World War. In 1914, William Blair was a flute player in the Hamilton Marching Band, which led the Orange Lodge parades. David knows that William fought in the war.
Billy.
Yes, David.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So he's come to Londonderry's Protestant Cathedral to ask band member Billy Cairns about how William became a soldier.
I'm on the trail now of the Hamilton Marching Band.
Yep.
Which I'm led to believe that my great-grandfather was
Part of,
involved
yes.
in, yeah.
It was indeed.
So as soon as war broke out, they signed up, did they?
Yep.
It was immediate?
Yeah, they signed up. You know, you have to remember, in those days, there wasn't much work about. And the fact that it was common belief that they would be home by Christmas.
Of course.
And there's no work. They had the opportunity of getting a uniform, boots, pay, and a trip to France, which must have sounded really smashing.
Sure.
The people with no work in those days. And little did they know what was in front of them, of course.
Right.
Now, this is a bass drum that would have sounded left, right,
Right.
for all the
So this went to
soldiers marching.
France? This drum went to France?
This drum went to France. This was used then as a communion drum for the soldiers. they would have laid the drum down this way. The padre would have put his white linen cloth across the drum, and then he would have conducted the communion service. This went
All through the war?
all through the war, and I have some photographs here and some information.
Right.
And if you scan away down here, you'll find
William Blair, W. Blair.
Yep.
Attached
Attached to
15th Company.
Royal Army Medical Corps.
Thousands of young Protestant men signed up to fight for king and country, hoping this demonstration of loyalty would stop Home Rule.